Hope y'all having a great day. Today I wanted to go over starting some seeds, which is actually my favorite thing to do. No matter what situation you're in, if you live on a little farm, if you live in an apartment, if you have a really strict HOA, if you don't have a yard at all, everybody can grow some of their own food. You may not be able to grow as much as we do, but you can start somewhere. Just, you know, if you set your mind to it. You have straw bale gardening, you have container gardening, you have tower gardening, hydroponics. There's so many ways that you can grow your own food. So no excuses. I hear it all the time. But if you really want to do it, you don't have to have a green thumb. Just do some research, watch videos, lots and lots of videos, mine, others, read. If you were to do a job, you would do some research. So if you want to grow something, just get on the internet, get some books. You know, it's really not real difficult. Some of us have to work harder than others. My brother is like 2 green thumbs. I have to work at it, but I just think it's worth it. I really want to impress upon all of you that you really need to take growing some of your own food seriously, because I just think we're in a time that it's just something that you need to seriously think about. You can't just up and say, I'm going to grow a garden, and you just do it. It's a learning process. You know, you just don't start all at one time and you're just this amazing gardener. It takes work. You have some things you need to purchase. When we start seeds, for instance, you may not have some grow lights. They're actually pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon. You can use shop lights, just white shop lights. You can do that. It helps to grow better plants. If you grow them in the window, you have to keep turning them. They're not getting enough light. You have to make sure you have enough sunlight coming through your window. Grow lights are awesome. You can do it in a separate room. I started a bunch of my tomato plants on my island, which thank goodness my husband was okay with that, but it took up my whole island. But you know what, it's worth it. So today we're just going to plant some seeds, and I want to just go over some basics, and I promise you can do this. Well, I've gone through all of my seed trays. I bought a bunch of them on Amazon, and they're not the best quality, but they're okay. I can use them several times, but I always like to put them in a little water with some bleach, just so I don't transfer any bacteria or fungus or anything to my new seeds. So I know some people don't like to use bleach, but that's what I do. So if you don't want to use bleach, you can use something else, soap and water, whatever you want to do, but that's what I do. So I let them soak for just a little bit, probably maybe 20-30 minutes, and then I get them out and rinse them really well. And then what I do is I take them, after I rinse them really good, sit them out in the sun and let them dry, just let them dry in the sun. So then I can reuse them, and once I get those ready, I will plant some new seeds. When I start seeds, it's usually, I start more than just a few. I do, you know, trays at a time. It just seems to be easier. So I'm fixing to put some seed starting mix, which I always use. I never use potting soil or potting mix for my seeds. So going to fill these up and get some seeds started. Okay, so I have these 4 trays filled with the seed starting mix. So after I do that, I just smooth them off, and then I'll take my fingers and lightly push down because it's really fluffy. And when you water them, when your seeds are in them, they'll like float around and they won't stay where you put them, which sometimes can be a problem, you know, when you're supposed to plant it a 1/4 inch deep, and then when your water and makes the seed mix settle, your seed ends up being a 1/2 inch or more, and could possibly not germinate. So just make sure that when you do your seed starting mix, you just push it down lightly. You want to have not have it packed down for your seeds, just lightly. Alright, once I have my seed starting mix pressed down lightly in my trays, I'll actually water these pretty good, because watch what happens when you put the water on top. It doesn't soak in, it just sits there. It actually repels water. It's so dry that it takes a little time to absorb the water. And I want to make sure that before I put my seeds in, the seed starting mix is packed down kind of naturally with the water, and that it's not so dry it'll also make your seeds float around. So I'll water these, oh gosh, probably 5-6 times until the water flows pretty easily out the bottom and doesn't just sit on the top like this. And it actually takes a little bit to soak down in there. Even though it's dripping out the bottom, it's still sitting on the top. So I'll do this, like I said, quite a few times until it's nice and saturated. Then I'll come back and plant my seeds. So when I do plant seeds, I make sure that as soon as I finish that one tray, I will put a stick with the label of the variety in that tray, because I can promise you, well, if you're anything like me, I'll go back and, oh yeah, I'll remember, and then I look back and I think, oh shoot, what did I plant there? So I do not move on to another tray until I put a label into that tray. So today I'm going to plant some salt and roast sunflower seeds. That's by Haas Tools. I really like their seeds. I'm also trying another company. I've done okay with our cantaloupe with another one, so I'm gonna try that. So also watermelons, I've already planted and transplanted Jubilees, Crimson Sweet, Charleston Grays, and I'm gonna try this variety called watermelon Dixie Queen. It's an heirloom seed, so gonna try that, and you know, like to try different varieties. So gonna do that. Probably plant probably one tray of Dixie Queen, and then cantaloupe we're gonna plant a whole bunch. My husband loves cantaloupe, so we're gonna plant the Hales. It's kind of the same variety, but two different companies, so it's a little bit different. So we'll see how they go. Make sure you label, and then also I put the date on the back. So just to make, you know, if I ever want to go back and look, I can see exactly when my seeds were started. So then you have no question. You know about how long they should, you know, how much the germination time is on each one. So if it says 7 to 10 days and it's been 30, you kind of pretty much give up on those. So just keeps me on track. I know when I've planted them, know when they're approximate ready to harvest. So that's how I do my labeling. Alright, well, I actually added 4 more trays. I know, I'm obsessed. But I'm going to add some extra things that I thought, well, you know what, I need this since I'm planting and I'm doing this. It takes time for this seed mix to absorb. I'm just going to do 4 more at the same time. So I'm going to start out with my salt and roast sunflower seeds. Like I said, I actually just stick the label in it before I even put a seed so I don't forget. I start off with this. I have a little marker that is marked. Well, you can't hardly read it, but I have a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/4 inch marks on there, so I know about how deep. It just makes it easier for me. So the salt and roast sunflowers call for I believe it says, it should tell you on there, planting depth is a 1/2 inch. So let's see, right there, well, it's hard to tell, I got one hand, right there is my 1/2 inch mark. I'm not going to go quite a 1/2 inch because I will put some, after I put my seed in, I don't bury it with the soil. I like to cover it with my perlite. It just seems that germination is better for me and gives it a little bit more aeration, I guess they say. So it's worked well for me. And I just do like down to about almost a 1/2 inch mark. Just see how that seed mix is sticking? That's because it's just dry and it's fine, and it does that for a while. So I just, since the seeds are kind of long, I just do that. And for a little space, just go do these, so then I can just drop a seed so it sticks to my marker. You can actually just tap it if you want or whatever. So anyway, then I just take a seed and drop it, and I'll go back if it like falls crooked or whatever. I'll go back and push it down with my the end of my marker, or my highlighter. See, I'll go back and fix it. Not a problem. And then I kind of push it down a little bit more because it says a 1/2 inch. So I want to make sure my seed is a 1/2 inch. Really, this is kind of the easy part. Then you can just watch it grow. There. Alright, see how some of these are kind of crooked? I just take my marker and just kind of push it down just a little bit. Not deep. I think that's people's biggest mistake, most often mistake, is to plant them too deep. So just kind of push it straight. That one's straight up and down, so there. And that's pretty much all I do with that. Oh, and if you don't pay attention, when you have little helpers, yeah, that's what happens to your little labeled plastic things. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, so I am ready to pour my perlite on top. I just put a light cover on top. Just works well for me. You don't have to do this. You could just cover your seeds with your seed mix, and you know, everybody does it a little different. I'm just showing you how I do mine. And I've said before, there isn't always one way to skin a cat. Not literally, so don't panic. I just kind of smooth it out. Pretty simple. So that's what I do there. After I put the perlite on, then I'll go back and make sure that I wet this good from the top, each seed, so that seed will make sure that it starts doing its thing. Make sure that you water from the top when it's a seed. Some people water from the bottom, but unless that seedling already has roots, more than likely it will not soak up to the top for that seed to germinate. I suggest that you water from the top until your seedlings are established and have a root system. So we have 3 trays done and I have 5 more to go. Well, thanks for spending some time with me in the greenhouse today. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell button so you'll be notified when I upload some new videos. And also leave in the comments below if there's something that you would be interested in me doing some videos on, and we'll make sure that we do that for you. So thanks, and we'll see you next time.